Hi, everybody. Welcome to Major Misconduct. Scott Taylor, Curt back. We're on 360winnipeg.ca. National Football League, off to 2 weeks. We're going into week 3. I was the guy who was prepared to give the officials a chance. I had not as big a problem with the replacement officials after week 1 as a lot of people did. My theory was that the officiating anyway was pretty awful. So week 1, I'll give them week 1. Week 2, it reached the point where the games were almost impossible to watch. It was so boring. There was no flow, flags all the time. Somebody told them to call phantom pass interference calls. I mean, it was just ridiculous. They've got to do something about the officiating.
Yeah, well, they've got to get the regular guys back. I mean, you talk about the fact that sometimes there's a lot of questions to be asked when the regular guys are there. But, wow, and it did. It got worse in week 2 than it was in week 1 for whatever reason. And so many summit conferences, like, what do we do now? And they needed explanations here and there. And I guess I can understand it. You know, it's the equivalent of taking a guy who maybe has officiated in the Manitoba Junior Hockey League and sat back on his couch and watched the Jets on television and all of a sudden say, oh, you're going to go do an NHL game tonight and there's going to be 1 million people watching.
Exactly.
And that's what these guys have been thrown into.
Too. And that's been a big part of it.
And I don't blame the officials. I blame the NFL because it's a high-paying league, it's a high-income league, and the officials are looking for a fairly good, and they've shown how important they are. I think nobody is enjoying this more than the officials watching the chaos that's going on.
And that's the best way to put it. It's chaos. That game Monday night between Denver and Atlanta, the officiating was so horrible, it was unwatchable.
Yeah, it was, and you know, you got such a high-priced talent in there. You got a guy like Peyton Manning
against Matt Ryan.
Yeah. I mean, what's going on here? How do you explain this? And they shouldn't have that much impact on how a game is decided. But obviously they can, they do. And when penalties are called, it shouldn't, and vice versa. I mean, it's one. But you know, I'd rather see, and in any sport, I apply this to hockey too and in football, I'd rather see a penalty that should be called not be called than one that shouldn't be, because there's too many flags. And it's in the Canadian Football League, it's in the NFL. And it gets, every time somebody scores a touchdown, and you want to wait to react, because you don't know if it's going to be allowed or not. And sometimes it takes about 30 seconds after, oh, here, somebody dropped a flag.
Yes, exactly. My favorite part of the weekend was in the Cleveland-Cincinnati game when the announcer said, we've gone back through the tape. We'd love to show you this penalty, but we can't find it. When we come back, we're going to talk more about the National Football League right after this. This is Major Misconduct on 360winnipeg.ca.